Hi, welcome back, Laurie Morse, to Creating Your Health Naturally. And this is step two, or part two, of the three-part process on cultivating and creating health as your natural internal pattern. And so we mentioned in the last video that when we set an intention for something, everything that is not that will present itself in order to be released or healed or purified. And I would like to talk about that in this video, and I'm going to talk about it from two perspectives. On the physical perspective, I'd like to have you consider doing a cleanse or a detoxification if you haven't already. Um, I've talked a lot about this, and below this video is a link to go and read a little bit more about it, so I'm not going to spend a huge amount of time in this video, except for to say that it is absolutely vital in today's world to keep our internal terrain clean and free of as many chemicals and toxins as we possibly can. There are so many toxins in the air and the food and the water that we take into our body that it's really difficult to keep a clean internal environment with such not clean stuff from the outside, constantly finding its way into our body. I mean, I eat organic. I filter my water. I use chemical-free products on my skin. I go to great lengths to avoid having a lot of toxins coming into my body, and yet I still cleanse regularly, ongoingly, because I just know that that's what a body needs for a good functioning system. So investigate that a little bit more for yourself. Let me know if you have any questions. But in terms of this step, this is one of two of the things that really should be done in order to set up your internal terrain to be one that can bloom your health, that can feed and nourish the roots of your health in order for it to be able to sprout up and come through you so that you can enjoy that harvest. And the second piece is a process. The quantum chi healing process that I have been talking for a couple of years about now. And the reason I can't get off of this soapbox is there's a few reasons. One is that there's a lot of things, a lot of ways that we can release in our system, and many of them involve going and finding a quiet place and envisioning releasing and or journaling, and all of those things I love, and I do them, and I continue to support the use of them. What I realized over time is that most of us need something that we can do right now, right here in the present moment, because time has seemingly sped up, and apparently there's scientific support that that's actually a true thing. But nonetheless, things happen really fast all day long in our life. And it's not very easy to set aside time, nor do we always remember everything that kind of triggered us or came up for us, 6 hours ago or earlier this morning when it's now later at night. And so it became clear to me that having something that I could do all day long would be really important. And it's been a game changer. It's been a game changer in my life, and it's a game changer for people that I have taught this to, who have taken it on as something to pay attention to and be consciously aware of, being in a good relationship with throughout their day. And there's not another process that I know of that holds the same simple power that this process does. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through the three parts, and I'm going to talk about each part individually, and then I'll describe to you how to put them all together. And then I'm going to encourage you to play with this all day, every day. You're going to forget. Remind yourself, bring it back online, and just don't let it go. Don't let it slip too far away out of your awareness and out of your consciousness, because if you keep reminding yourself, it'll become a little bit more of a natural habit. You'll have access to it for any reason, because there are a lot of beliefs and emotions and traumas, emotional traumas and physical ones, and aspects of weeds in our garden that really do need to be pulled up for our healthy soil and our healthy plants to be able to come forth. And it can sometimes feel overwhelming to people. I know that this is I hear people telling me this all the time, excuse me, that it just feels so overwhelming they don't know where to start, so they just don't. They just kind of go into, kind of robo mode and just keep moving through their life so that they don't have to think about it because it's kind of seems too big. But I guarantee you, if you just take it one little piece at a time, everything that comes up now is ready to be released now. You don't have to worry about yesterday or tomorrow. Just let the intelligence of your present moment guide you as to what is ready to be released now. And if, for example, you're sitting down and you're setting your or you're investigating your beliefs about being a healthy person, and there's all this stuff that comes up, well, all that stuff is coming up for the very purpose of being released. So rather than being afraid of it or resisting it or trying to make it go away or affirming it away or breathing, doing meditations and seeing it, floating out or any of those kinds of things, welcome it as a part of you cultivating your inner terrain for health, because that's actually what it is. And it's hard for people to say initially when triggers come up that it's easy to welcome those, but I had the same feeling, trust me. I was like, oh right, I don't know how I will find myself welcoming these things, because I didn't like them. I didn't want them. I didn't, I wanted them just to go away without me having to do that much about it, but it doesn't work that way. But I can say that now when something comes up, most of the time, 80% of the time, I'm not 100% there yet, but 80% of the time, I can say, oh, cool, there's another thing that I can, release. There's another weed I can pull out of my garden so that I have all of the space that is authentically mine to cultivate and truthfully who I am to emerge from me. So the three parts they're all very, very simple, and each of them are important in that we access or that we're doing each one of them, but how we do them is less important. Just that we do them. So the first part is that we need to be in our body. I'm going to just say all three parts and then I'll go back and talk about each one. The first part is that we need to be in our body, not in our head alone or not completely disassociated from ourselves, in order to activate the intelligent blueprint that is health inside of us. The second part is that we need to use our breath to actually start pulling the weeds and to start unraveling. Remember when we talked about different triggers and different elements of emotions that can get balled up, almost like a twisted, tangly ball of emotions? Well, it's our breath that unravels that and unwinds that and unkinks our hoses, to use one of the original analogies we started with. So our breath acts as like a bellows. A bellows is one of those, let me see if I can get this in the video here, is one of those things that you go like this in front of a fire, and it actually pumps air so that it makes the fire increase. It activates the fire. Well, the bellows, our breath, is like a bellows inside of our body so that it actually activates movement and unleashing of energy that shouldn't be there. So that's the third part. The second part. And the third part is that we need to soften our entire body. That actually is what unkinks our hoses. If we can't be in our body and release and soften and open to the intelligence inside of our body to be able to release the energy that we've just sort of unhinged, then it's like a hamster on a wheel. It just keeps spinning around inside of us, and it just finds another place to land inside of us. And we don't want that. We want the energy to transform, to transmute, to be to use that word again, to be transmuted into usable energy for us. So in other words, we transform the space that the weed was in a garden so that we can have the soil be nourished into a usable space for a new plant to grow. I know I keep using the garden analogy, but for some reason I see that clearly in my mind. Hopefully you do too. If not, I don't know. You can maybe replace it with a different analogy. So those are the three parts. And so what I suggest for people, because I have learned, and this was actually kind of a surprise to me, I have learned, I knew it was hard for us to be in our body. I didn't realize how difficult it was for people to take a true deep breath. And then it's not easy at all for most people to soften their body. So actually, I just realized based on time that I'm going to have to stop this video and start a part 2 to the second part of the 3 steps to creating your health naturally. So yeah, so stay tuned for part 2 and we'll go through all these parts together.